In this video, I'm going to be documenting and sharing my journey of working 60-hour work weeks at a shift job and trying to build a business online. So for those who don't know me, I've been trying to build an AI agency since the start of March, and I've been trying to make money online with business since I was 16. Now, I also work a shift job which runs me up to 60 hours a week. It's 12-hour days, and I just want to share my journey on how I actually balance those between the two and my journey of entrepreneurship within that. So for a little background on my business, I run an AI automation agency where we automate businesses' back ends all with AI. Things like follow-ups, all that, blah, blah, blah. And I also work a shift job. So as I mentioned, I work a shift job, and how it works is I'll work for 5 days straight for 12 hours. And in that time, I'll have either 3 days and 2 nights or 2 days and 3 nights. So within that, this is kind of how my structure looks. So on the days, I am busy all day. This is a very physically intense job. It's one that a teenager like myself is very well suited for. And on the nights when it's quiet, I'm actually able to get some stuff done. Here's an example of one of those nights. So it's currently 4 a.m. 4 a.m. It's a quiet night tonight. I'm so tired. It's stupid. It's a quiet night tonight. I got 4 YouTube videos done. I already closed the tab. I'm not gonna pull it up again. I got 4 videos done. I'm making some ads. I'm looking at some reference ads from some of the people I know. I made an SOP for one guy. He's gonna do some editing for me. He's gonna run some of my YouTubes and Instagrams for me, just like some side stuff. And I also was researching ads on Library. So it's a productive night, but man, is this draining. But it's whatever. So within my scheduled shifts, I work 7 to 7. Now when you have to wake up at 6 a.m. and you come home at 8 p.m., it's extremely hard to get stuff done in the free time you have within the day. When you only have an hour or an hour and a half a day, the sacrifices you have to make to actually balance what you have to do in your work and what you have to do within your business is extremely difficult. There's a very fine line between it. And with that, you have to be extremely creative. Now, the way I do this, and the way I really is the only way that I could do this, is throughout work, whenever I have any sort of free time, I will plan out what I can do in that hour, hour and a half when I get home. Now, that's extremely energy draining. At a job where you're physically being worked really hard for, 12 hours straight, when you get home, you want to do nothing but sit on the couch and sleep. But if you're an entrepreneur, you'll know this feeling. You know you can't do that. You have a mission, you have something you have to achieve, and that can't rest for laziness, no matter what it is. And when you're working 5 days straight, 12-hour days, it's extremely irresponsible to lose sleep for one day because you have to catch up for all 5 of those days. When you only have an hour and a half of free time that you're already putting towards your business to do so, it's extremely important to get enough sleep. Now, this is a night I was working past my bedtime. I usually like to go at around 9:30, and this just kind of shows a little bit of that. So, just another update. It's currently 11:05. I'm making a voice agent for one of my clients. I got work at 6 a.m. tomorrow, just like every other day. I should be in bed, but again, when you have no time to do anything, it just comes as it goes. Like, I know tomorrow I'm gonna feel this. I know tomorrow I'm gonna wake up so tired. But this work has got to be done one way or another. And this is the only time I get with my job. Just again, another quick update on how this works. Now, all throughout the week within this, you have to have a razor thin way to do things, because if you mess up on day 1, it's going to trail with you all the way to day 5. That, like bedtimes, business work as soon as you get home, things you do at work to plan for your free time. It all is on a razor thin margin. And if you don't hit those, you're going to be trailing for every single one of those days leading up. Now, how do I actually prioritize this work? Because obviously I can't do menial tasks with the hour and a half I have per day. So I have to prioritize my highest ROI activities. So things like running ads, things like texting clients, texting editors, whatever, to make things run smoothly. And I'll kind of give you guys a list of the most important things I prioritize. So number one is obviously client fulfillment, right? Your clients, the people that have paid you to make them a service, they have to come first 100% of the time. So number one is client fulfillment. Number two is anything that gets you clients. And for me, that's content creation and ads. So anything between those two that I have to prioritize, that I have to give my attention to, it's going to go to those if it's not already a client fulfillment. And number three is strategizing everything else, right? Updating your VSL, updating your funnel, tracking your statistics, optimizing whatever systems you already have in place to do this. Now, what systems do I have in place to actually find and prioritize this correctly? So throughout the week, and this is something I recommend everyone do, especially if you're watching and you're some sort of entrepreneur, write down everything you think. Throughout the week, write it down. A lost thought is potential lost money. So I write down everything, every thought, every action I have to do throughout the week, and I find what needs to be done first, and I prioritize that. If you've ever heard of the app or the application Todoist, I use that all the time. Just write down all of my thoughts, and then I go through the most important things from there. Then at the end of the day, and this is also a big part of my hour and a half, this isn't necessarily full business, but I write down in my journal and I write down what I did good, what I did bad, the things I have to prioritize throughout the week, the things I have to prioritize on my free time at my work that actually gets things going smoothly. And for my journal and for that system that I use, how I'll do it is per day I'll write down the things, and then every Sunday night I'll write down my weekly tasks. So I'll write down what I need to do in that week, what I did good and what I did bad the previous week, and how that works. I'll actually show you guys a real example. So this, I write down all my notes on here. This is for today, right? All those tasks, you don't need to see them word for word. And then I also have a different book that's only for my weekly tasks. So I only actually started using this new book. I already finished my other book. I've been doing this since kind of the start of the year. And again, the tasks, things I did good, things I did bad, and stuff like that. And these systems are a huge reason. These systems are one of the biggest reasons why I get done what I get done. If I don't do this, again, I won't have the time. I don't have the time to delegate in that little bit of time I have. I can delegate at work. Every task I can outsource to work, I have to outsource it to, right? I can't even lose 10 minutes. When you only have an hour to do work on your computer, on your phone, whatever, you can't get that 10 minutes from what you could be doing at work to put it into that hour of time. It's just not how it works. It's not efficient. It's not good. Now, again, this is extremely draining. To be firing all the time when the only time you have to rest is when you sleep those 8 hours, barely those 8 hours of sleep a night. It's extremely hard. And the only way you get through that is having a strong enough reason to. So again, like I said, if you're an entrepreneur, this reason for you can vary. I want me and my family to live the best life possible. And I think with AI, with technology, there's so much opportunity out there. It just has to be for the taking. Now, I can't afford to be lazy or undisciplined. And that's why, again, I have nights like this. And now some of you may say, oh, 11 p.m. is not that late at all. But like I mentioned before, if you lose 2 hours of sleep your first night, you're constantly chasing. Let's say you lose 2 hours of sleep and you can only gain an hour and a half a day. That means that hour and a half the first day, you lose that time for business and you don't even fully catch up to the 2 hours you lost. Now, you have to be optimized. You can't just sleep 4 hours a day, live off of coffee. Your work isn't going to be optimized. And that's where, again, that razor thin balance, that's where that comes in. So something for you, if you're watching this, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're in any sort of situation like this, know why you're doing this. All of this work, for someone who's not strong-minded, for someone who's not disciplined and doesn't know why they're doing this, you can so easily quit this, right? This is hard. Nobody wants to do hard things, but it's why you do those hard things. That's the only reason you push through. If I can work 60 hours a week, if per week I have less than 10 hours to work on my business, every single minute has to count. Now, you may be in a worse position. You may even have less time per week. It's finding that and using that time wisely and efficiently, and that's where you'll grow. And then eventually, when whatever you're building substitutes what you're working, then boom, you have all that free time afterwards and your growth will be exponential. You don't need perfect circumstances. You don't need perfect circumstances at all. You just need intent and you just need desire. You need the why as to why you're doing this. And as long as you have that, nothing can stop you. Now, I don't want this to be about me, but if I can do it, I guarantee you can do it. I'm not special. I just have that discipline. I have that why. And if you have that too, you can do anything. So with that, that's kind of a rough journey on a week with me when I work 60 hours and I have to also prioritize my business. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to follow my journey, drop a subscribe. And with that, never quit working on your dreams, no matter how hard they get. Stay wise.